of Empire's ladder, and he can gather up like 60 people to watch him at any moment. Not just viewers, but
Oh, 60. I mean, it depends on, who's doing the streaming mostly. You know what I mean? For
yeah,
sure.
a stream stats.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on which age title you're doing, what your ELO is, how well you're well known you are in the community, and a number of other things. But I think, if you really like the game and you get yourself out there, you can get some pretty good crowds of people eventually. It just takes a little bit of time and practice. You know, you definitely need
Yeah,
time because it's not going to happen overnight, but you also need to work on
yeah,
your casting skills, playing skills, something that's at least consistent enough for people to want to watch again and again. And also trying to be as lucrative as possible, looking at different mods, different game titles possibly outside of AoE to draw people in. If you're just doing Wars of Liberty, I don't think you're gonna get good. You're gonna get better viewership than a lot of people on the YouTube platform who gets like maybe only like 5 views per video, but you're not gonna grow anywhere. So you need probably some Definitive Edition gameplay in 3, maybe some Age of Mythology, AoE 2, any title you can get under your belt enough to stream or record. That is probably gonna make your streaming and YouTubing performance much better in the end overall. So just diversify your stuff and market it as best as you can.
yeah. So you have something ready today, or
What did you say?
do you have something ready, or are we doing?
Yeah, I pressed live a couple of seconds ago because I just
Yeah,
was got the final audio settings I wanted to done. I already did the graphics part of it, so we should be good. I'm gonna just wait here
yeah,
for like 6 to 8, maybe 10 minutes. Let people come in. You know, don't start right away. That's sort of a rule that I've always done is, give people time to come so they don't feel like they're missing out on anything if they really want to be there at the start. If you start too early, people might not be able to get in on time and they're going to feel like you started without them. Not that it matters because there's going to be a VOD of the stream always, but it's just a courteous thing you can do for your viewers to make sure that they can always see your stuff live in action. And I think it really helps out for the most part. Yep, and now I'm just going to all these Discord servers and putting down the stream link for anyone that would probably be interested in watching this thing. Thankfully today we had a bit more, I guess, success setting up the stream because last time I had an issue connecting the Google account back to the OBS, but today I was able to do it no problem. So whatever Google was doing wrong, I guess they fixed it for me. So that was definitely very
yeah.
convenient for me. Yep, I think I got all the servers we need to. That was pretty fast. Sometimes it takes a couple of extra seconds, but I was able to put it together pretty quickly, I think. Good thing about having my account connected back to the OBS is now I can actually close
Yeah.
my Chrome browser and save some CPU energy, which is really nice. It means we'll have a lot less performance issues. Not not that I think we had any performance issues last time, but definitely now we're going to be looking a lot more smooth here, for sure. And also this time, since the setup wasn't as annoying, I actually was able to get some of the recordings that that was sent to me, so I won't have to do as much back and forth with that now, which is pretty lucky, I think. I was able to get about 5 of them. No guarantees that they're all going to work. As always, some of these recordings might out of sync. So if one of them out of syncs, I got a whole treasure trove of other ones we can do. So, it's never a matter of do you have enough record games to do. I always have a mountain load of them. But even though I have like a giant mound of them, it shouldn't stop anyone viewing the stream to send me your recordings because, well, these are mostly HVNI, Leah games. If you want to look at people other than
Yeah.
Leah steamrolling people on ranked, I mean, you're going to have to send me your stuff so I can see you steamrolling people on ranked or maybe in casual. Like this one. This is
Yeah.
a casual game that HVNI did, so this one's definitely going to be pretty interesting. And I'm starting to wonder now, what does he mean by 3 factories? How does one even get 3 factories? Cause
Mexico revolt.
oh yeah, that's right,
Mexico.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. I kind of forgot about that one because the last time I heard about 3 factories in AoE 3 was back in the old days of Wars of Liberty when I think it was either the American Dream or one of the oh yeah, the old companies, the old companies at the general store. Instead of giving you those little stands, they used to just give you an entire factory wagon instead, giving US like 3 factories. So if you could have one on each resource, or you could literally spam out 3 heavy cannons at the same time. It was, back in the days when USA had way too many strong upgrades and they were really painful to deal with in Imperial Age. They basically won treaty almost every time.
Hmm.
Yeah. Do you think
So are we?
what
So are we going to start or?
yeah, let's start now. I mean, I think it's close enough to the time we usually give people, so yeah. Let's try this one out
Yeah.
here for 3 factories and see how this one goes. Uh
Yeah. Mexico is like the most broken nation if you know how to play
oh yeah, most definitely.
all the revolts and.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, I don't see Mexico here. So I don't know what they're talking about in terms of 3 factories. I see a British, an Ottoman, a Dutch on one side, and then on the other side we have an India, a Spanish, and a Germany. So somebody's getting an extra factory somehow, and I would assume it's one of the revolts that one of these European civs gets that I've probably never seen before. Let's see
Maybe.
how that goes. But before that,
Maybe Spain revolts to Mexico.
oh yeah, right, yeah, that's right. Yep, Spain,
Maybe.
that's true. Didn't think of that. We're gonna be doing a match on Mongolia. Everybody loves Mongolia, right? Nice open map with the trade route that's all the way at the top of the map, so you kind of have to go out of your way to grab it. Also, you got those nice cavalry natives, the Tengri shrines, and you still get nope, no more Sufi, but you do have the Shaolin, so that's basically cavalry in itself. Alright, let's see some gameplay. Are you ready?
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, let's see how this goes. Hopefully no out of syncs, you know. Didn't get to check any of these files. Just warn you. If it makes it past the 1 minute mark, it's usually good to go. I've lost so many beautiful, beautiful recordings to the infamous out of sync, but
Oh
I
wait, actually, either Brits or Dutch are going to revolt. You can have three factories if you revolt as to South Africa
oh, you
as
can.
either
I
Dutch
didn't
or
know that.
yeah, yeah. It's I forgot.
Oh wow, that's interesting. And who's Cookster? So yeah, let's see if Cookster can overcome Kaiski here, because we know Kaiski is a very
Yeah,
powerful opponent as Germany.
yeah. We have looked at his games. I think the first stream.
Yep, he's playing Germany again. He seems to do pretty solid with that Civ. Does it like practically all the time nowadays.
Yeah. So Dutch doing 10-10.
Yep. Let me flip around a bit and see what everyone's doing here, because I kind of want to get a understanding of in a 3v3 what sort of decks they're going to go with and how they're going to synergize with each other.
A lot of decks.
Alright,
Kaichki is going double partners actually. So
yeah.
I saw some Chinese players doing double Sodners only, and it isn't bad, as to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think it's something you can certainly do. It's just not something I've done personally myself a lot. So I'm not too used to that type of gameplay.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is with
So
British is it's kind of great when they can get a TP, because if I check the well, they didn't, but I thought what he was going to actually do was he was going to get Greenwich time and have like two TPs on top of that trade route, which would have been pretty greedy for British to do. But I guess they haven't gone with
yeah,
that.
GMT card.
Yep, basically. Yeah, GMT.
Ooh, British getting nearly all the yaks. So that might hurt India or somebody.
Well, India in particular, because that's a lot of lost experience points through that trickle that they get from the animals. Even if you don't want to use a sacred field, having the animals there itself is a great XP trickle for you. Just like we saw back on that show match I did for House and Trading Posts from Oreo. Oreo was basically able to get some herdables on the Dnieper basin map, and he was able to get a pretty good push against Japan just doing that alone.
Yeah, so we see manners. Brits can boom very, very well because, as you see here, Brits are going Gangso and manors are reduced wood cost, so they can pump out many, many houses, and with each house they get a villager. So pumping out, oh, building also livestock pen.
Yeah, I think it allows you basically to put more of your vills onto the wood, which itself is going to be boosted with your Virginia company making your houses so much cheaper here to be able to keep them going out. Because once you send a Virginia company in Definitive Edition, it basically becomes a cost of about 90 instead of the more expensive costs, allowing you to basically pump them out a lot quicker.
Yeah, 50 wood. That's
Yeah, it's still good because your houses are actually even cheaper than the standard house by about 10.
yeah. Oh, we see outpost age up with Brits. That's interesting
Yeah,
and very,
typically
very fast age
it's
up.
yeah. Oh, yeah, basically Governor General is like the standard politician for British, at least on the videos I've seen of their build orders and stuff, mainly because, the gold can always help you a bit with the musketeers, and since you're being so greedy with the economy usually as British, just having an outpost available does mean you're going to have a lot less problems with the raiding, since, a tower's extra range support for you, and at that, it does do some multipliers against the cavalry class as well. So, I mean, hussars and Uhlans and stuff are going to have to be careful of that when they're coming in after you.
Yeah, we see that Brit player, even though he is level 7 town, like when you see there in his deck, he is very, very good. He is putting manners, so everything is scouted out, so he won't get raided. He is building a lot of wills, and it's gonna be question if Kaishki is going to be able to fight him.
Oh yeah, for definitely.
Very good scouting, just perfectly.
Oh, most definitely, for sure. Alright, so Ottomans. Ottomans are definitely keeping that FI gameplay. It says Team FI Spahi, so it even says it in the deck name here. You notice here they got the Royal Decree, they got the Moss construction to make those techs cheaper, and then once they're going to come roaring out of the Industrial Age with Safahi shipments, the Abyss Gunners, the Bombards, all those heavy hitter Ottoman units. So I think in this situation, if the enemy team by Kaishki leaves Ottomans alone for too long and they don't go for some sort of frontal pressure here, since they're the frontmost ones, you might see some nasty support by the Ottomans towards their allies, which could potentially cause some major problems.
Yeah, Ottomans could have microed a bit better. They have a lot more food than they should, but I mean, still very, very nice.
Yeah.
They're gonna be in focus age around 8.5 minutes. That's very, very good.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, when
So,
you're... Yeah. Alright, so one thing I would say here for almonds is for sure, if you are going the FI route, you're going to want to make sure you get some more houses up for that, since you're going to be so shipment reliant for a while there. They certainly got the food they need to get the Safahis going, but as far as being able to keep their numbers coming out, though, they're going to want to just make sure they keep the houses coming, pumping, basically.
yeah, definitely. Also, I saw 4 team shipments Spahi, and because there are 3 of them, that's essentially 12 Spahi shipment. That's a bit broken, if you ask me.
Oh, most definitely. 100%. Oh, so looks like almonds are even getting a wood trickle for Frugal Constructions because they got the Dutch player on their team. It sent it to them.
Yeah.
Looks like
Oh, they also have a deck
yeah,
for a special. So Cookstar has a special deck for his teammates, what nations they are.
yeah, definitely. Alright, so looks like Spain is actually going to do what I recommended and actually try to do some attacking here towards the Ottomans using their skirms as well as their 2 falconets from the home city. Mostly a lot of anti-infantry here, but I'm afraid if you go in too soon without your friends to provide some... Well, yeah, it looks like their ally is going to come in with some Zams, thankfully. I was going to say, if they were going to go in straight in with just skirms and cannons, you could run into a serious problem of industrial age upgraded Safahis just breaking their backs with the splash attack.
So now this is a Skirm Goon comp, but Still, I don't think that's enough. If just that's not enough infantry or anything, I believe, to endanger Ottomans here.
Yeah,
They're gonna,
I think the
they are
problem
shooting
is
easy.
is the Zams can be good, but you need to like one get bigger numbers of them since they're more of a one population cav unit, and two, you definitely want to get some stats up on them. I mean, they got the camel attack, which is great. They probably would want desert terror as well to deal with the Safahi threat, because if they don't really beef up the numbers on these things, and you don't have the right numbers to proportionalize, a civ that gets stronger dragoons, you could still run into problems with the far more upgraded splash cav unit ripping through your front lines of your army.
Yeah. So Spain just pure pressuring. They have skirms, goons, falks, nothing special.
Yep.
And the thing they could do is that um, India can just like peace button that they have from one of the wonders. They can do that peace and then go in with their army to try to find something.
Way too
They might have
close for
found.
the look at this right here with the doppels. Look at how he needs Ottomans need to be a little bit more careful with how close they get there, because that could have been much worse with the doppel soldiers and their splash.
Yeah.
Just wanted to point that out.
Also, Kashki should get the tech from like the church tech, so they can their double southerners gain speed. Instead of 4, they are like 4.7, I think.
Big
That can
difference.
be very, very, yeah, big.
I guess the one good thing about going Ottomans, though, with like Cav versus Doppels, is the Cav archers actually have hack armor instead of pierce armor, so it's not like they're taking full damage when they're getting slashed by those swords. They're at least being guarded from 30% of that damage when they're getting hit.
Yeah, and we have 5 viewers currently, and someone in chat says that Kylie is number 15 in the whole world at team ranked, and he has 2350 elo, and Flown is around 2050 elo. So this is a top guys game, one of the best in the world.
Yeah, most definitely. It's definitely a very tight battle, I think. There's two pretty competent armies going back and forth here for center control right now. And it's just a question if, well, I think Germany's going to lose this TC just because of the manner of the situation, but we'll see if Spain is knocked out afterwards.
Yeah, and some of the viewers said that Kylie is number 15 in the world on Team Supremacy. So this is a high elo game. He has around 2300.
How
Like he's the
does.
top guy.
Now, this could be a pretty powerful option. We see India adding in the Howdah's pretty high damage unit, I think, and since there's not a lot of skirms here, that could be great for like sniping some of these cannons for sure.
Yeah. Also, with Ottoman F5, you always have to worry about uh, multiple great bombards coming your way. And with these skirms and goons, they are gonna be very well protected only if they micro. But yeah. It seems that eco of red team is much better than elo of the blue team. Kaishki is in age 4 as well as all his enemies, but again we see that India and Spain are in age 3, and some raids, double sudden raids going in the base, enemy base by Kaishki. So yeah,
This army's a bit bare bones here, and they might want to retreat some of these infantry while they still can, because I don't think they're going to be able to hold this front up for much longer. Especially with the Culverin there picking off those cannons for free.
yeah. But did you see the raid coming by double Sodners in Blue's base?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Also, can you just switch to England or Great Britain? What is Great Britain doing?
Well, we'll pull them up right now. So, British seems to be going pretty heavy along the lines of economy at this point. They're already industrial, got 3 factories. Oh, so somebody's gonna get 3 factories somewhere along here. Where is that?
Kaishki says got 3 factories. Who?
Either that or he took down factories. One of those. I'm gonna look right.
Ah,
Oh, so we sniped about 3 factories under our noses and we didn't even see it. That is very sneaky indeed. Now I understand what happened.
that,
Because look at the damage on this factory here, and the other one's missing. We don't know
yeah,
where it is. So, I mean, it's only one explanation. Kaishki's gone
that
to
was
his usual sniping tactics to the factories.
that double Sodner raid that came.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't think of them like that. Usually you think of them as more of a defensive tool to wipe out lots of cav and things plowing forward. But if you can get a bunch of doppels unchecked across the map, they can burn some stuff down pretty seriously.
Mm. Yeah, I don't think India should have went with ceasefire here. So now all enemies can get way closer than they should if ceasefire wasn't on. And now howdahs are going down. Yeah.
Yeah, watch out for these grenade launchers. Look at the siege on these things. They're like ripping apart all these houses being lost right now. This is a lot of lost ground for the Spanish here. They're losing a lot of their ground here.
Yeah. And a lot of villagers.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think maybe the snipe of those 3 factories slowed these guys down a little bit because it's one less great bombard that you have to worry about coming after you. But still, I mean, you got to look at the front lines first and push some of these away. And it just seems like, you're trying to beat grenade launchers with veteran skirms, and these are at the guard level. This is just really not looking great for you, especially when you got the Dutch and the Ottoman cav. It's another factor here. Yep. I think they just called it. They just called it. I don't think there's much they can do at this point. It's kind of a tricky situation. Oh, yep. Good game from them, though. I mean, taking out 3 factories with the doppels, that was a really sneaky move there for sure. I'd even think of that at first. Like, I thought somebody was going to build 3 factories with the revolt or something. Like, oh no, I burned down 3 factories. I've done that myself before, and I find the more factories you burn down, the better you will end up doing by the end. Except in this
Yeah,
situation.
definitely. Because that's either 7 or 5 gold per second less for your opponent, or if they are Ottomans, maybe less great bombards and great heavy cannons is just anything. You just deny your opponent any resources, or any artillery that they could get extra. And your opponent's obviously pissed, so there's also mental warfare.
Oh yeah, most definitely for sure. I do notice here that it looked like British did really well economically. Like they had resources up in the past 50K, and I think that had a big factor in how they were able to just keep pumping out grenade launchers, which was a really good pushing tool for their team.
Hmm.
Yep, and here's the military performance. Looks like in general the grenade launchers were probably one of the most MVP weapons this game. But at the same time, it looked like Spain not bad themselves in defending here. You know, they got some kills in for sure. But unfortunately, you're dealing with really really powerful armies here that I think that the Spanish, even with their good micro of the skirms, just couldn't push back against. And you obviously had one of the players mostly focused on raiding instead of defending in the front. It might have just been a situation of the wrong unit, I think. You know, if they went like full skirmisher, all three of them, and Culverin, maybe they would have been in better shape here. Or you at least would have
Yeah,
forced
those.
Ottoman not to survive.
Because if we see Cookster build a lot of goons, and we saw a lot of goons from Kaylee, so that was mostly goon focused. You have mostly goon focused opponents. So if instead of going Zamburaks as India, he should have went Gurkhas, and he could have countered both Grenadiers and uh, goons.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I see here we got a nice 2v2 Sweden France versus Russian Ottoman that I found towards the bottom of the stack. Let's see how this one turns out.
So immediately talking about it, Sweden, France, I mean both solid nations. Sweden has that very nice torp, eco, and Russia and Ottomans both can go FIs, FFs, and oh, it's that match.
Yep, it's DM, so we're starting an industrial age, bunch of 20k of each resource. The one who builds their church in the town sires the fast wins, maybe. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. But I
China
always like
forget.
this map for deathmatch because I like how it's like a straightaway that's very long, and you know you can do a little bit of walling with the pawns here, but it's mostly just a straight path to your enemy, and you can like really do a nice forward base and walling structure with it.
Yeah, and there are a lot of herds on this map, a lot of coin. So we are mostly gonna see army because in the last deathmatch we saw on Tuesday, we saw that uh, Russia or who ran out of resources, so they had to put villagers out, and they got raided, so they lost because of that. Who was it?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Let's see how this match turns out. I'm looking forward to this duel. Yep. Church, houses, TCs, that's like number one priority in every death match. You need your church to get mercantilism and get those nice shipments going. You need the houses for pop. You need the town
Yeah,
centers for pop, as well as basically just getting more villager queues, because 20k resources is great, but it doesn't last forever, man. So you do need to resupply that economy at some point with vills. I wonder how efficiently. Well, it looks like in practice, at least from what it looks like, you don't have a lot of time to like plan your torps out perfectly as Sweden, but it looks like at least some of them are, they're going into the right place a little bit, which is good, because I think especially in
Yeah,
like the early part of the match, having at least some resources that being pumped out from the torps is going to be pretty helpful for you.
what a microbiota. I just saw thousands of found what do you call them, boundaries for buildings. Just see TC Torps a lot, and he's built a church. He's sending the cards, and already seeing a patch of raiding cavalry.
Oh, out of sync. I was looking forward to that too because he was using the card that gives the Falconets less population. So we're gonna have to look for another one in the list here, which thankfully I do. We can
Ah,
do a Mexico versus Mexico death match. That might be interesting.
oh, yeah, that can be interesting as well. Many revolts in Mexico.
Oh, whoops, wrong send there. But yep, it looks like Mexico playing the same way Europe does. Getting that cathedral out right away. Getting the houses out. Also, getting the cantina as well gives you a bit of coin as well as your ability to make your outlaws. Let's see what the other Mexico's doing over here. Sort of the same thing, priority for houses. Again, get the lock off so we can look here a little bit. Yeah. So
You
what we
turn
getting?
the view.
Return the view.
Yeah, like it's all sideways.
Yeah, it seems to be locked onto this view right now for some reason.
Ah,
Interesting.
it's better.
Yeah, I think so. Certainly. So right here, it looks like they're gonna start with the bit of an outlaw fight with the banditos as well as the suatreros.
Cuatreros and banditos in exchanging shots. Cantinas, as you said, are very, very good, but it seems both are just going to be pumping out outlaws and mercenaries.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame them though. Banditos are great because they can toss the sticks of dynamite, and then the suatreros are great because they get that really nice lasso attack that does some good splash.
Yeah, and we see Cuatreros here exchanging shots, and actually banditos counter Cuatreros. So, oh, both send that. Oh, this is a bit annoying, but I mean, who can blame them? They send the cards that allow their troops to reflect and bullets, and also can have critical shots and strikes. So it's kinda annoying to watch, but
Yeah, it's
who
like
can blame
reflect,
them?
reflect, 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 critical, reflect, critical, critical. Like, it's all over the place. It's like you're
Yeah,
shooting at a mirror at this point.
and we are just seeing absolute warfare here. Cuatreros and banditos firing at each other.
Finally, a non-outlaw unit, the mortar, doing a bit of siege, trying to gain a bit of a. Up here comes this. Oh, here comes the Chalos, the Shanaka riders. Really nice lancer unit.
Yeah, definitely. They have. I think they have bonus against infantry, so they are good if they catch skirms off guard. But
They also get a
I don't.
bonus against Cav too.
Oh, but they do get countered by Cuatreros, so I don't think they can do very much.
Yeah, because if you look right here, the stop dying. I'm trying to read it. Uh, I guess if you look right here, you'll notice the multiplier is only heavy cavalry tag, which is usually only melee cavalry. So if anything, it makes the Chanakaraya more of like a dragoon style unit than a counter to dragoons. If it was all cavalry like
Yeah,
the pikemen got, then yeah, I would probably do better. But the multiplier is only in effect for like against things like Hussar, Cuirassier, Axe Rider, that sort of thing.
yeah, but still, they are very, very good cavalry.
Yep, and the stats were totally not copied from Wars of Liberty. Wink, wink. Yeah, I
Yeah, but
mean,
I mean,
yeah,
they use a lot of mods for nations
reference.
they made.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at the dev team for Dev Edition, Talantis is literally the main developer of Napoleonic era, so it's all mods from the very start.
yeah, and they were like wars of liberty, like Korea and everything. When they would make nations, and when people would guess how would a nation look, they always said it will look like this mod, and they were partially correctly. So devs of the game did steal. I mean, if that's the right word, they did steal a lot of content from Wars of Liberty.
Oh, certainly. This is pretty interesting. So basically, now it looks like what we got here is we got the card for the Red Mexico that basically gives their insurgentes the range attack. And it looks like they're just spamming insurgentes with their very weak range attack now. It's like spam.
Yeah, also they have ran out of resources, both blue and red Mexico, so I think they are now just gonna fight maybe one or two more times and it's gonna be peace out. I have to build an villager army. So
I mean, I think Aaliyah's got the edge here because it looks like he still has 1,000 bean burritos in his pocket that he can keep making more of the insurgentes with, whereas Tamunes here, no food, barely any coin, just wood. Like, what do you train with just wood? Like, nothing. Like, there's no wood only units in this
I
game. It's
think
either food and coin, food and wood, or coin and wood. There's nothing that just costs wood.
yeah,
That's, like, really rare.
I think he should make a market and then exchange wood for coin and
Oh yeah, get that shift key going and start tap tap tap. Get something. I mean, it's no guarantee that you'd be able to push back, but it feels like when you do like a Mexico mirror, it's all or nothing. Like it's all out warfare.
yeah,
As in, like when you're like a European civ, you have time to like recover your eco and plan stuff out. But it looks like when you play Mexico, there's this sort of like phase by phase aspect where you just burn through all your resources and don't try to recover any of them. Because if we look right here, basically, like how many vills do these guys even have? It's like how many vills is that? That's like 10
then
villagers. Yeah, that's not a lot of vills to work with. Honestly, that's barely anything.
and I mean even normal game, not deathmatch, but normal games. Playing Mexico Mirror is extremely stressful, it seems. You have rushing, you have Argentina revolt, you have Central America revolt, and even if you play them in normal DE without deathmatch, it's extremely stressful and you just waste your resources trying to build an army and don't recover it.
Yeah, it's also the most exciting Civ to play as because there's just so many ways to do it, some more effective than others.
Yeah. And that's the reason I love Mexico, because you are never going to predict what they are doing. They can be
Yep, there's like
FFing FI, doing an FI, but firstly revolting, and then coming back from a revolt. That's what triggers me a little.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, I think though when you're doing like deathmatch Mexico, it's just looking at like the post game stats. I think it just came down to like combat, like not even resources, because like look, they barely even touched any resources on both sides beyond the initial start. No extra food, no extra wood. But when you look over here, you know what I mean? It just came down to the fact that Leah was able to get his artillery working a bit more efficiently with the field guns, and he was able to blast back larger swaths of whatever Tomenza was making for his artillery, and basically took him out of the game as a result of that. So very, very tight gameplay when you do Mexico versus Mexico deathmatch.
Yeah, I think what uh, Tom Noon here should have done was just build a market, exchange wood for coin, buy some food, and try, at least try to survive. Just to trade off everything and then just build villagers.
Yeah, most definitely. Looks like what we got here now is Aztecs in France versus France and Ottomans. So we're going to see some late game Aztec combat today. Very interesting deathmatch, Civ. I've seen this before on, I believe, wasn't it like a month or two ago? I did a deathmatch where it was like Lakota versus Aztecs with a European on each side. It was like a really
Yeah,
tight
yeah,
battle. Yeah.
yeah. But Aztecs, I started to play them like few weeks before, and I'm now how Shoni and Aztec only main. And the thing I love about them when I play them and hate about them when I don't, if they get to that H3 and start pumping out noble huts and just start building that Eagle Runner Knight and Jaguar Prowl Knights, it's looking grim for an opponent.
Yeah, I think most people are lured to the Aztecs because of their very diverse roster that's nothing like any other Civ. I mean, they don't have like a late game skirmisher. They don't have traditional cavalry roles. You know, it's either like a one pop javelin thrower or one pop like club soldier with a coyote costume on. So I mean, yeah, the Aztecs probably have one of the wackiest rosters in the game, and I think what people say is they wish the Incas sort of could have been the same thing, but they do stray a little bit towards too close to the Aztecs in terms of design, just adding little things here and there to make them look a bit different.
Yeah, but Inca are good because every civ has a 1 TC town center card in H3, but they have 2 TC cards or town centers. So they can extremely well turtle up and boom because they have Kentra houses, so they get passive wood plus all 3 TCs and fort. So they can age up and build up, turtle up very, very well.
Out of sync. I always love it when that happens. So we're gonna move on to another Aztec game that we actually have up here. I think the Civs are going to be a bit
24.
different, but for the most part, it's pretty much. Wait a minute, no, there's no. Yeah, it's Aztecs and Portuguese versus Mexico and Dutch. So this should be a pretty
Yeah,
interesting one. One thing I find pretty disturbing about Aztecs in death matches, they get the advantage of the big button technology, so they can start the game basically pumping out the Jaguar Knights right out of their town center, whereas somebody else has to get a production building out before they can even think about getting army on the field.
yeah. So championed Prowl Knights are very, very good because they are just good at against cavalry and also good against heavily armored infantry or heavy inf. And only thing that counters them are scrums, but they are so fast that they can catch skirmishers easily. So I don't know what really counters them.
I would assume probably uh, building defenses, so like walls with cannons behind them or skirms. Like if you can get a wall, a couple layers of walls in front of them and hold them off long enough, that's how you beat them back.
Yeah, but they have insane siege as well.
Yeah, 45.
45.
45 siege.
Yeah, and those Eagle Runner Knights are. That's essentially a musketeer that deals extra damage or has multipliers against heavy infantry and cav, so that's just better version of musketeers.
We already see some light cav combat between the Dutch and the Portuguese here, but it looks like Don Stowe is going to try. He tried flanking his dragoons a bit with the shock riders, which seemed to have a bit of success. Now he's going to try to make a move on the Cassadors.
Yeah.
Looks like Dutch definitely has the home field advantage, I think, because they got the towers near them, and then they have the horse artillery just sitting in the back safely, providing range support for whenever the Cassadors get a little too close.
Yeah.
Oh, he's getting in, though. He took out the constructing villager with the Eagle Runner Knights, and now the Coyotes are going right into the base.
Yeah, as I said, they are just very, very good because Coyote Runners are essentially a one pop cavalry
Oh, they're a wood
that,
Cossack.
yeah, they are also very, very, very cheap, so you can mass produce them.
Yeah, see, this is really nasty. The fact that he came in, Mexico came and get one of the TCs up, this is devastating. And now the Coyotes are going to make a move on to the other town center. Are they going to actually take it out 100%? Yeah, they took out that one. They took out both town centers. Mexico's completely pinned in his base now. And the Coyotes are just going to move on and go right into the Dutch base now and start lopping up some of the merchants.
Yeah, that's a lot of wood lost, but you have 20,000 to start, so that isn't going to be a big problem, I think.
Look at this big square of coyote runners just moving without resistance through the base. Skirmishers, that's not going to really do much. I mean, they're just going to get cleaned up. You're going to basically force Dawn to either get some riders down here, some halbs even, just to deal with this. And Mexico's just chasing him. And all the while, more armies of coyote runners, like there's like 3 formations of them on the map, moving in different directions. This one trying to move on to the skirms. This is a direct hit against. Yeah, this is a nasty strike here.
Look at Elias villager count.
Yep.
His ceremony that he's doing. Plus 20 age attack per unit.
You gotta love the community plaza. That's how he did it, is the community plaza. First he got the fertility dance, and now he's going for the warrior dance to get the attack up on the coyote runners. Like I said, Don Stowe's forced on the halberdiers now just to deal with that fast unit and get some multipliers into them.
Yeah, and also don't forget that Aztecs can get shipments faster than any other civ in the game because of their explorer that gives any unit that kills any other unit around them double XP, so kill XP. So when Aztec units kill, they get double the XP. So they can easily just pump out shipments.
Yeah.
Way more easier than other nation.
Yep, look at this nice infinite shipping a coin here. So if Leah wants to get any of the noble units like the Arrow Knights, the Jaguars, the Beaglemars, he's going to have like enough coin for that just using the home city. Won't be able to put more of the vills onto the farms then.
Yeah, also, as I realized something, Arrow Knights are very, very good. They are like a skirmisher that has 8 times multiplier against artillery and has 30 range.
It's the
So if
Aztec variant of the culverin, basically, as well as the mortar because
yeah,
of its siege capabilities.
Arrow Knight. Ooh, and Aztecs having that equalize resources from that's very very nice. So their coin is going to turn into wood and food. So very very nice. That equalize resources from the natives.
Looks like we're seeing a bit of a shift in the Aztecs forest. They're adding some of the map natives, and then they're getting some of the Eagle Knights here as well to deal with the Cavs, since we do see some Dutch Hussars becoming a potential problem along with the Charros from Mexico.
Yeah, but they have equalized the resources. Do you realize what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That native big button. They have that native big button.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yep, now we're starting to see some Arrow Knight production from one of the noble huts. Or do we? Yep, this one. It's going to need some of those to start doing some siege work here and maybe take down some of those walls and defensive buildings. Also, it might be good for taking out this fort if it ends up getting finished by the enemy.
And also, I just want to say how beautiful these do Aztec noble huts and warrior huts look like. They are just beautiful.
Oh, they are, definitely, and I like how in Return of the Gods for Age of Mythology, that mod, they kept the noble huts pretty close to the ones in the AoE3 game, so they have the same sort of like cone structure as the roof on top of it.
Yeah, I watched one of the videos about Aztecs.
Yep.
So just producing evil runner. That's what Aztecs doing, and Ontontine slingers. So they are going to counter any heavy infantry. Also, a lot of space being taken up by Mexico, putting forward barracks and everything.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I want to look at sort of like these resources of the enemy team. So Mexico was burned out, and it looks like Dutch is hanging in there just because they're the Dutch and the banks are really good. So yeah, this enemy team definitely getting kind of hungry for resources, and I think, it's going to come down. Aztecs are just doing really well in their resource output, I think, and they're eventually going to be able to, you know, they're at least going to be able to keep up the fight here. They might not be able to do much pushing early on, but at least their resource stockpile is respectable at this point in the game, whereas everyone else, including his teammates, seem to be doing really poorly in terms of their resource coverage.
Yeah, and they are just going to be able to outproduce everybody's just going to waste their resources, and they have more than everybody. So Coyotes here taking on Dutch skirmishers, and still Aztecs just have way more resources.
Can you mortar? Yeah, he's asking if Portugal can start doing some mortar siege here to help out.
Yeah, but Terror Knights are just they can. I think they are better than mortars. They have a bit less range, but they do counter cavalry. So not cavalry, but artillery. So
He might just want to keep the Arrow Knights back a little bit just to defend against Don Stow's artillery because he knows Don Stow is a pretty good defender here, and if they're going to get in to do the fatal blow, you're going to need those Arrow Knights to be alive to take out the cannons rather than the structures, which you can technically do with the mortars.
yeah.
Yeah, look at the range on
So
these Arrow Knights. Just really great. They're going to be able to deny this fort now.
they are going to be able to deny every structure that's being placed, not only.
This is kind of interesting. Throwing Coyote runners at the front and ripping them apart from long range using the Rebolda organ guns in the back. That's a kind of an interesting combination I never thought of before.
Yeah, coyotes are just perfect at everything, and they aren't really countered by anything, and they can counter everything. So they can fight anything, and they don't have a real counter to themselves. So I mean, they are a good overall unit. One
Yeah,
of
I,
the
th-
best, I would
I,
say.
th- I think ironically what beats Coyote runners is probably the state that colonized them, the Spanish, if they spam Tercio pikemen at them, because it's sort of the same like macro resource, same cost, but it's the Tercio pikemen boosted with unction potentially, and that could probably be something that wipes out the Coyote runners just due to the high multipliers against the shock.
Yeah, you are completely right. That's true. And also they have the same speed, so coyote runners don't have that advantage.
Yeah, definitely.
So we still see just Aztecs or Alaya having way everybody else.
Yep, just throwing more and more Coyote runners into the front line so Portugal can take advantage of its ranged attacks, both the Caçador range attacks as well as that of the organ guns. And so the Moors can do a bit of planning in terms of their targeting here. But it looks like
Yeah, trying to
Mexico is
prevent
doing some coves, and they're going to try to blast back against the organs at least and take away their main pushing power. It's still going to run the
Yeah,
problems though,
that's true.
because Coyote runners, Portuguese Hussars, that's going to be a serious problem for mainly these Vigilante skirmishers.
Mexico still isn't able to put that fort down to defend because either arrow knights or mortars take it down.
Looks like at this point Mexico's basically forced to use all their food for the Insurgente unit and then, spend their wooden coin on artillery. So they've basically been forced into a very limited military situation. They looks like they are adding in some charos as well, but at what effect? You know what I mean? Like at this point, if you're just dealing with a bunch of Aztec units, you may as well just keep spamming the Insurgentes because it's a massive unit, and then try to get some artillery in the back to take out some of the Antonins and Caçadors here.
Yeah, I think in long term, Quatrero card. So like card in second age, I think it's so every hacienda produces Quatreros for free all the time. So I think that card in a bit of a longer deathmatch is absolutely needed.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, I mean it.
Quattrero card.
Oh yeah, certainly.
So we see Scaramgoon from Portuguese just beating away uh, Mexico's defenses. Also, why isn't not Spain, Mexico getting that Magyar Hussar shipment that they have from the big button?
Oh yeah, they should definitely begin Radetzky's march right now to get some Magyar Hussars and even Magyar Grenadiers out from it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of help,
Oh, he did. He just got the Radetzky march.
but I
Then
think it's,
resigns. Then resigns after doing it.
yeah,
Like if you look at like these resources, I mean, Dutch completely burned out. Now their banks and these haciendas are in check to the coyotes. I mean, there's not much else they could have done in this situation. So I mean, I just think they were again really overwhelmed here by the power of these Aztecs, just doing really well, and they were doing so well that Portugal actually was able to get a decent eco going and start to really support the Aztecs with organ guns, castadors, and dragoons mainly.
yeah.
Yeah, Mexico's eco not that great. Kind of fell behind here, I think it looks like. Yeah, for all that spam though, not that much kills for the Aztecs. It just happened to be the fact that they got some critical kills, I think, that made most of the difference. The fact that they focused on the skirm lines, they focused on cannons, they focused on constructing villagers. They didn't have to get a lot of kills as the Aztecs, they just had to get the right kills to cripple the opponents and push them back. And it looked like it was mostly up to Portugal to be the firepower that does most of the kills in the raising for the team, whereas Aztecs acted more like a sniper here, taking out individual targets where possible.
Yeah, I mean, Aztecs didn't need best units, they didn't need to kill most units, but they just produced a lot of units and they plugged the gaps, just throw, uh, throw coyote runners at enemy's face and leave Portuguese to kill them, while coyote runners are just sacrifice that needs to be made to win the game.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I think we got like, let me look. Do we have like another recording here? If not, I'm gonna grab some other ones and throw them right in for us. Yep, I think we're gonna need to grab some more recordings. So I got a nice fresh batch of them right here from HVNI. Uh, how many is that? About two new ones called 1v1 Beginner's Guide. So they're supposed to be educational. Uh, how educational, I don't know. We'll see.
So they are beginners.
Yeah, Beginner's Guide.
Yeah, we can give some constructive tips. We can give them some constructive tips what they can
Yeah, when we're done with them, they won't be beginners anymore.
Yeah,
Alright, so it looks like Leah's going to be fighting Floxy here. They're both playing Germany here, so we're going to see in general who's got the best Germany of all in this 1v1 deathmatch duel. I'm going to be mostly focusing on Floxy here, since he's probably the beginner from experience.
yeah,
He's probably the beginner, and we just want to see, how he does, how he manages this fight against Aaliyah, because we know Aaliyah is definitely a hard combatant to deal with. So we'll see in the end if Floxy has what it takes to beat him. If not, we can see what he did right, what he did wrong. At the moment, he seems to be macroing pretty well. He got his mercantilism. He's focusing on the houses. He's got Oneville working on the. He's got the Explorer working on the TC. He's got the other one queued up. So right now, he seems to be doing all the important early game stuff, and it's just going to be a matter of how well he constructs his base and how fast he does. One thing I do like here, Floxy is constructing with the settler wagons. The settler wagons gather and build pretty much at the rate of 2 villagers, so the fact that he's constructing with those means he's going to be able to get his base up in time to match his opponent here, who is also using his settler wagon, so this is working pretty good for both of them. There's going to be a bit of an even contest here at the start, which is great.
yeah. Sending fact
Yep.
as Floxy sending a factory. Why? I
He's,
don't think that's
you know what
standard. That
yeah, I would have sent probably fencing school first, because at the start of deathmatch, production is most important. After you get production, like your training time stuff done, then you can think about economy, because it's something you definitely should think about. But it doesn't matter at those first critical junctures, those seconds. What matters most is, hey, can I get my units out quick enough to meet my opponent, who's also going to be getting his units out quick as well? Because if you're training at a slower rate than your opponent, they're going to have a far easier time besieging right on your base. And you're just going to sit there tapping that button just waiting for the troops to come out when you really need them.
Honestly, I don't believe that deck that Floxy has is good for that match. There are many economic cards and
Is this
stuff.
even a
So
deathmatch deck at all? Because these settler wagon cards are absolutely garbo in deathmatch. Spice trade, it can be useful. It's just hard to justify. These resource crates also horrible. So I don't know if he even constructed a proper deathmatch deck. Maybe Aaliyah just said, come with your best deck and let's see how you do, basically, to teach him. He's got most of the things he
yeah,
needs in terms of military, so I'm not super duper scared for him. He does have guild arzens, Germantown farmers, and like Refridge, Eco Theory,
he,
Royal Mint. So he's not in a horrible place, but yeah, just because of deployment, army decisions, he lost his factories to Aaliyah, which is really going to hurt
obviously,
him very badly here. And I also like how Aaliyah is choosing to go with budget units because he knows he can get an edge here. Instead of attacking with high level units that are going to cost a lot of resources, Aaliyah is just biting into his wood stockpile and spamming veteran pikemen that he knows
yeah,
are going to get upgraded alongside the Doppelsolner cards, forcing Floxy onto this war wagon spam that's going to get eaten up by the skirmishers. So it's almost as if Aaliyah's like fishing Floxy into a bad unit comp because he doesn't know how to compete against this situation at all.
yeah. Leah is just pumping out soldiers, having a budget build, and I think those he also Floxy also sent a Germantown Shepherd, which allows him to build settler wagons from mills. I don't know why he sent it.
Why he sent it?
Also, yeah, also that right, Polish hussars. all good cards from Elia. I mean,
Well, the reason he sent Germantown Farmers was because he wants to start deploying his eco properly now, so he doesn't run out of resources mid-fight. Which, that's a great idea, because once you get the settler wagons out, a lot of your economic woes goes away as Germany. So I mean, as quick as you can possibly get the settler wagons out with the guild artisans behind them, that's at least a reliable resource thing that you could start out with, and then you just add settlers in as needed. However, he does need to pay attention to his combat. He's being attacked on two
yeah,
fronts here by Aaliyah, and he's just not being able to defend both fronts here. He's actually getting
yeah,
annihilated by just veteran pikemen. Not Doppels, veteran
yeah.
pikemen.
That's why I said that he should have focused on probably military more.
Yeah. I think this is probably one of the reasons Floxy's still learning, is because he's just trying to learn the balance between combat and late game construction, because that's one of the most hardest lessons I think to learn as a deathmatch player in any Age of Empires game, is just knowing while I'm fighting, which I have to be doing 24/7, how do I fit in that time to get those villagers working in the back, to get another house, to get another mining camp, to get another lumber camp? That is a hard skill to learn in deathmatch because it's so spontaneous and you have to do it so quick up front. And I think the best way Floxy's going to learn from this is, one, how to fight on multiple fronts, and two, how do you get the eco stuff done, which you're doing, which is great, but how to do it at a slower pace so it doesn't threaten your combat ability. Because now you basically gave Aaliyah the pushing edge to take out your buildings, and now there's nothing you can do because there's veteran pikemen swarming all over the place now with all these mercenary units. I mean, it's not like you can take them out with these anymore.
Yeah, and we see here that Floxy he played solidly, but he spent a lot of food on villagers and settler wagons, and he has 6,000 food and 2,000 coin left, not spent on anything. So, I mean, it could have been better, but for starters, it isn't that bad.
Yeah, I mean, his eco was on par with Aaliyah, which that's a good sign. Yeah, the problem was mostly the fighting, because, like, one raise versus 19, the kill count. Well, the thing is, actually, Floxy got more kills, but the problem is the way Aaliyah was managing his population meant that he was able to push Floxy off of the land while not necessarily having to kill as much stuff, because main problem for Floxy was he couldn't, build a large contingent of military buildings to basically keep the fight going. He just kept getting burnt back and back by those pikemen. A very cheap, a very trashy unit that just, when you mass it up, is really hard to counter it from sieging your base down. And that's what it came down to. Map control, nothing else really. Just map control and, deployment, mostly.
Yeah, and that's the thing we have to talk about, as Elia lost 200 pikemen, so I mean, he lost pikemen, not any good troops that cost many resources. But Floxy built extremely good quality units as skirmishers and war wagon, but he just got overrun by cheap pikemen, so yeah.
Alright, so this is another beginner's guide, it looks like, but it's going to be France against Aaliyah now. So we're going to see if this France can actually overcome Aaliyah's Germany, which we all know is a very dangerous threat to deal with. We'll mostly be focusing on France here and seeing what they do right and wrong, and maybe help them along their way, and facing some deadly opponents in DM.
Yeah, so it said in the beginning that this beginner's guide, so probably that this French guy is total beginner. Yeah, we
I
see
I mean,
his time.
this is first few seconds. I know he doesn't know how to play deathmatch at all, and he's like learning this for the first time. Like, look, he's got 3 Courier de Bois on the Bison. He's got 2 on the Wood. He's not building any buildings. He's building a trading post. Like, this is like 100% beginner right here, to the point of he probably doesn't even know what mode he's in right now, and he's thinking, "Oh yeah, it's nice and slow and easy." But look up here at Aaliyah, all these foundations, all these hotkeys spamming out over the map with shift key. This is what the real deathmatch is like over here. So I think in this situation, maybe this France player just doesn't know what deathmatch is, and he probably should watch, if he can watch this match and what we're covering, he should learn from Aaliyah now, like what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get a church, get your mercantilism, get lots of houses, get town centers, and then start pumping out the production buildings. Get riding school and fencing school first. Then you can think about combat upgrades, and somewhere in between start thinking about eco upgrades and villager stuff. It's a hard combination, and you're going to have to like practice it a bunch of times before you get it perfect. And the higher level the deathmatch player you're going up against, probably, it's going to take you some time to get there, but, that's the way it is. Like, yeah,
This
like,
French player
yeah, he just
looks
doesn't
like
know
me.
what this, like, how to actually play this mode, which is fine. This is why it's a beginner's guide. It's basically to show you what to do and what not to do. Do what Aaliyah does. Don't do what the guy who just has numbers in his name does, because that's gonna make it really not great for you.
Yeah, he looks like me when I played my first game of that match.
New? Yep, he just called it out. Like, say, you new, man? I mean, he already knows from probably scouted around with something, realized, yeah, this is definitely not a expert by any means, which, it's fine. Maybe Aaliyah's going to give him some time to construct some stuff, basically. And that's what he's going to do, essentially, there. And maybe say, alright, we'll attack now, let you get your army, and I'll get my army. And they'll have a fair fight. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Because technically Aaliyah could have swept the floor with him already, but I think he's just giving him some time because he knows he doesn't
Yeah,
know what the game is, to say, okay, get your fort, get your buildings, build your army, we'll have some fun and see who can beat who here, because who knows, maybe if you give him some time to do whatever he's doing and you keep it pretty basic, maybe he can do some good damage here and get some cuirassiers and skirms out or whatever, but it's just a thing of giving him the time he needs to do the attack at this point, basically. Yeah. He's putting walls up, that's great, It seems like he knows what he wants to do, but it's just not in the right order, it's not quick enough, yeah. I think if it was like a treaty deathmatch, if that was ever a thing, you'd probably be doing the right thing, maybe. But yeah, it's just not realistic with how deathmatch works.
yeah, he's building walls. He not only at 4 minutes starting to build an army, quite slow, and Elia was like at 1 minute of time he already had all pop. So yeah,
Yeah, that's what the real deathmatch is. I think a lot of kids that pick up the game for the first time think, oh, deathmatch is this cool thing where we build big buildings and then we attack each other. Well, it's sort of like that, but it's like boom, boom, boom. Hockey this, hockey that, hockey this, hockey that. Watch the flank. You're going to get attacked. You're going to get attacked here. You're going to get attacked there. It's spontaneous action. And that's something I actually learned as an Age of Empires 2 player doing deathmatch, because I think that's sort of the first deathmatch I ever seriously picked up, and I learned really quickly. It's all about timing, because if you're not great at like hotkeying through your buildings fast and like setting up a defensive line and pushing, you're gonna you are gonna die very within the first 3 to 5 minutes usually, and then around 10 to 15 minutes, if you haven't mastered how to balance villager economy with military production and how to sort of offset the loss of your gold and stuff, basically you would die within 10 to 15 minutes. It's all really a game if you're basically got to think between basically doing a regular supremacy game where you're used to just starting with villager eco, going greedy, slowly building your army, and deathmatch it's sort of the opposite. You build the army first, and then you think about the economy later on while you're doing the primary fighting. And mind you, you're fighting. You're not just training stuff. You're constantly combating stuff.
This build that Foxy is doing, not Foxy, but this French guy, might be very, very good in normal D, but deathmatch, no way. Supremacy, maybe.
Spies,
like, yeah,
priests. Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, maybe he wants to heal his stuff up. You know, you never know.
Yeah, he's doing 6.5 minutes mercantilism, so.
Yep, now away is
A bit
attacking. Alright, so we'll see now if he can like defend anything here, which we'll see. See what he can do. Yeah, like look at this poor factory wagon just getting completely swarmed on every side. He just let it pass though. I don't know if that was intentional or not. It's gonna take it out anyways, but I thought that was pretty funny how he just like completely did a complete box around the factory wagon, and yeah, very interesting.
Going to win this 120 cavalry or French fortress and a few outposts. Gonna be close.
Yeah, see, yeah, I think this is just sort of the problem with this France player, is he just doesn't know how to like click and hotkey through everything at the start. Hopefully he finds this casting bias at some point and just, you know, sort of learns, you know, what your start is really supposed to look like. It's supposed to look like, you know, this and then this, and this. It's not supposed to be, you know, setting up like a normal game, because if you do that, you know, it's like, you know, playing with a kid's toy at that point. It's fun, but you're not gonna last for more than a minute if somebody's really fast, knows what they're doing. Yep.
The whole point match is just pump. You are over in a minute or so. Just speed. That's the whole point of that match.
Yeah, it's like a boxing match really, because you're constantly swinging. That's why I think it's like a boxing match where you're constantly defending, you're constantly throwing punches, blocking punches, trying to get under people's stomach and their face basically to knock them out. That's what deathmatch is. Whereas like normal supremacy might feel like sort of like a real-time chess match where you're making moves on the map, making moves in your resources, and you're playing it like a real-time chess game. But when you're doing deathmatch, it feels almost like more of like a boxing situation, because you're coming right out of the gate doing your swings, trying to hook them on the side, hook them in the front, hook them in the back, and people who do that the best are gonna indeed be able to perform better than everybody else there, essentially. Yeah.
So I like wrestling more than boxing.
Oh yeah, you like wrestling?
Yeah, BJJ, anything, and whole MMA just.
Oh, that's neat. Definitely. You know, I had family members that liked wrestling too, so I can definitely see where you got that interest from, for sure. Oh, guess what? We got a gift. We got a present. HVNI actually sent us more game recordings as we were talking because he knew we were streaming, so he wanted to give us a little gift. Do you want to do those ones too?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do those ones. Hopefully they don't out of sync, you know. It's nice that our Uncle HVNI gave us some presents for Christmas, I guess. We'll have to open these packages up right now and see how good they truly are. It looks like they're both 2v2 ranked. Ethiopia Aztec versus France Russia, and Ethiopia Aztec versus I think Mexico Ottoman. So hopefully those do work because this looks like some really nice 2v2 games that we can do on the fly for sure. I definitely appreciate HVNI giving us games on the spot to do. You know, it feels more fluid that way instead of just waiting for like some opportunity to do it another day or something. Allows us to get right to the chase and see things probably moments after they happened. Alright, so yeah, which one do you want to do first here?
Yeah, anything. I mean, anything is good.
We can do the I guess we'll do the Ottoman one, I guess. That might be fun. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
Supremacy or Deathmatch, though. So we're going to have to see. Oh, so it's Supremacy. Cool. So it's like a normalish game. On the Florida
Yeah.
map, too. I like the Florida map. It's one of the premier ones we use in the Liga all the time. Because it's a balanced map. You got the little swamp over here that's hard to construct stuff in. You got the water on the Florida coast with the beach and everything on the side here. And then, of course, you have the open grass area of Florida with the trade route that's pretty nice along here, as well as all these nice skirmisher-style natives, you know. In DE, it's Caribs and, I believe, Seminoles. So, yeah, some really good archer natives for sure.
Yeah, I know. So Ethiopia here that they have that cow eco and that can here be very very good. Also having Mexico and Turkey. If they went rushing both or both did the same FI, that can be very very deadly. Also Aztecs have a very very good rush. They could put a lot of forward pressure and allow Ethiopia to go up in age and go to fast fortress and like builds like that and go Neftenia. So yeah.
Yeah, certainly. Let's get started and see how this match goes because I'm pretty interested in how Ethiopia and Aztecs are going to do on the same team together in like a normal supremacy. Pretty
Yeah.
interesting combo, for sure. Ethiopia starting right away with the granary. I love granaries because they really help your hunt and gather rate out, and they're free. You know, anything that it's free is really neat, you know, and they lure the animals towards the building, which is even better. You know, less herding work for you if you can manage them really well.
Yeah, and I think Ethiopia doesn't have the advantage it normally has because on this map everybody gets a market. Ethiopia gets a market wagon, so I don't think that this map is very good for them because on a normal map only they have a starting market, but on this map everybody has. So it's a bit of a, what can I say, inconvenience, but still.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I think though it's kind of good because now you basically have two livestock markets to work with if you want to go super greedy with the livestock and get a lot of wood and coin and influence off of that. Now your ally could help you facilitate getting a bunch of animals onto them, which could totally help the Ethiopia out quite a bit, for sure.
Yeah, on this map they also have sheep that you can gather around. So
Yeah. Yep, because look right
getting
here, 10 gatherers on each livestock market, so you could get like 18 or so sheep on top of these zebu. You could get some really great influence wood and coin off of either keeping them there, grabbing the influence for you, or just selling them off for wood and coin as you go. Could be really helpful. Looks like he's playing the standard way with the Trinity card, getting 2 villagers and 1 a boon. The aboons are quite helpful because they can actually help gather from your mountain monasteries, giving you good coin and influence, as well as being able to heal for you.
yeah, I know. Like Ebon is very good because they don't cost I think any population, but you can have 5 of them at the monastery, so they are very good, and they are like villager and a bit more coins, so very good. Can we see Dex? Dex, can we see what Dex they are using?
So it looks like Ottomans would go in more the FF/FI route. They could go FF because they got the base cards Ottomans need for FF. They could go FI with some of those Safahi shipments, as well as the Bombards. They got the Royal Decree, Palace Intrigue, as well as Moss Construction to make them cheaper. So they're going to be playing sort of mid to mid late game there. Noob tests. Noob tests. Yeah, yep, that's a noob test, I guess. Grabbing the treasure from right underneath his nose. Oh, but it looks like no, he's not a noob because he put his villager there. So he passed the noob test. Nope. Unfortunately, couldn't get it. But that's good that he noticed it though. That means he passed the noob test. That's
Yeah.
good. Let's look at the Aztecs. So it looks like Aztecs. I think it's pretty standard, but they do have a bit of counter water in here with the 3 privateers as well as the water ceremony. So I mean, they could technically go water here too, which Aztecs pretty good fishing ship I've found in a lot of games.
Yeah, I mean, I realized that rarely anyone goes on the water on any map. Like on Florida, I have never seen anybody except me go on water. And yeah, we now Aztecs. There is an Aztec build I love to do when I play against enemies and I have I or either Haudenosaunee. I go with and build immediately dock and pump out 3 boats and 12 villagers. And food generate later on is very good. Plus the 700 coin wood that you get can build many villagers. So yeah, doing water with Aztecs is very good.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Looks like they're going to be putting their forward base or a mid map here with the war hut and the war camp.
Yeah, and Aztecs just booming. They have dock. They are building constantly, and they have that what's it called, community plaza. So their build is solid. I mean, very standard.
Oh, Lalabella Rock Church. That's a pretty good card. It's basically going to make the Mound Monasteries much more useful to them, as well as every shipment from this point on basically giving 200 influence to the Ethiopia player. That'll be very helpful.
Yeah, I mean, this is that church that's built inside the earth, right?
Uh, what about the church?
That was the church that was built in earth. It was just
Yeah,
dug
basically
up.
it's the church that you place over your mine, and then the villages and the aboons can gather the coin or the influence from it. It's really nice. Until, of course, the mine runs out of the coin, of course. After that, it just becomes like a normal church that sits over that spot.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of mines that mm,
This
Ottomans.
one, this one, this one. Yeah, lots of ones in the back, too. They're completely secured.
So shuttle warriors are pretty nice. They are like one of my favorite units. They are really fast and deal a solid amount of damage. They can go raiding, and if you put them on some different position, like guard position, they get up and they can easily catch a villager. So they're one of my favorite units. I really like them.
Yeah.
Also now seeing a Central America revolt from the Mexico, so that grants him 7 villagers,
Yep.
and that's just a solid revolt.
Yeah, it's a very good economic revolt compared to the Baja California one, which is mostly combat related.
Yeah, and with those 7 villagers, they can just pump out the army. You have a solid amount of villagers, and then you can just use them to pump out soldados and vigilantes. So not bad, I have to say.
Yeah, the thing I like about Central America Revolt as well is it's a good setup for getting your Texas Revolt going. Usually,
Yeah, there are also some very good times if you do it the standard way. Like Salvadorian coffee is a very if you stay in the revolt for a solid amount of time.
oh yeah, most definitely. If you want to just stick with CA, you can.
Yeah, and we just see Ententines and raiding and preparing a push to defeat Central America.
Making an EMOM, that's kind of a noob test in itself. Actually, making healer units. Who makes healer units? Does anyone actually do that?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if you have a that you don't want to lose, like Bosnia or something like that, then you might build killer units. But
Yeah, I
like
don't.
this,
It's like the last thing I think about usually, unless the Civ has like a really good bonus around it. Like, if you're Spain, you're naturally going to have healers because you're going to be making missionaries for the unction ability. If you're like Bulgarian Wars of Liberty, you can get the priest for free, increase their HP, so you can kind of use them as a meat shield unit in front of your army if you keep making them. So there's some instances where healers are probably a preferable thing, but I don't always see them as being that useful.
yeah. And at the start, we thought that Aztecs were the noob player, but it seems they are the best out of all. We thought Aztecs were noobs, but they aren't. They really aren't.
Yeah, a lot of range support here for the melee units, and that's kind of causing the Janissaries a problem here, just trying to fend off. Good aggro by Ethiopian Aztecs. They've basically won the match, it looks like, and knocked the wind out of CA. Very good.
Yeah, sorry I couldn't stay a bit longer, but I have to go.
Oh, that's fine. That's 100% alright. We can check out the other one next week if you want on Tuesday.
Yeah, all right, but I don't think when is next Tuesday.
It's still in July.
Ah, okay, then yeah, I can.
Yeah, because don't you have your chess tournament on from August to 1st to the 4th?
I have a tournament, so I won't be able to cast.
Yeah, that's fine. We can hold off until after your chess tournament. Come back later. Should allow us to accrue more recordings from HVNI and anyone who's courteous enough to send them.
Yeah, we can also run some streams where we play together.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that before, like doing like either casual or ranked or something, and seeing how we do as a team and coordination and everything. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean that's pretty good because I don't think there's a lot of people in the DE community that does actual like coordinated games of people talking to each other live. Like you go over here, you go over here, like sort of like a football huddle sort of thing, and trying to get down the center field at that point. So I think if we could coordinate something like that, that'd be a different experience that people could really get into. So yeah, I definitely like that idea.
definitely. So, goodbye
Yep.
and have a good night's sleep.
Yep. Have a good rest. So that was our stream for today. We got through a lot of games. We had some hiccup out of syncs, but we made up for it pretty well. We did a wide variety of stuff. We did Supremacy, we did Deathmatch, we did some team ones, some 1v1 ones, even some educational games, right? Some ones that were coined as beginner guide. So we could teach you sort of how Deathmatch works if you don't know how Deathmatch works yet from any of my uploads. So yeah, definitely check out the stream, the entire thing if you haven't yet. It's fun all and through. But I think after we look through the post game here, I think we're good for today, and we will be picking up again on Tuesday, I guess. Also, for anyone that likes Age of Mythology Retold, remember that this weekend is the stress test on the multiplayer servers. So from, I believe, what was it, like 11 a.m. Pacific time to 3 hours from then, each of those days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you will be allowed to play Age of Mythology. I don't know if you purchase the game or if it's for everyone, like literally everyone. If it's for literally everyone, that's actually really cool. But if it's for people that purchase Age of Mythology Retold only, that makes some sense. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna have to read up on that tomorrow and make sure get that set up on Friday. So I'll be able to do some Age of Mythology Retold games for you on Saturday and Sunday again. Because you're not going to be able to get your Age of Mythology Retold fix from me until obviously August 27th, when the early release date comes out for the premium edition owners. So yeah, definitely see you there for sure. In the meantime, I'll still be doing the Rex Goodwin maps with the rechargeable god powers, since people really like those, and I mean really like those. Like the first one we did is already up to 3.3 thousand views already within like less than a week. So if you really like those, I will keep doing those with Rex, including tonight when I get home. So yeah, really, really good stuff. Anyways, see you at the next stream on Tuesday. Signing off now. See you later, crocodiles. No alligators.